What's up guys, here's Sahin. Hello and welcome to my new Photoshop tutorial. Well, this is it. Avengers Endgame is finally in cinemas, and as a fitting celebration for that, I thought I'd make a tutorial for how to create a text effect in the style of the film logo of Avengers Endgame. So, let's start. First we open our Photoshop and create a new document by pressing Command N or Strike N, or just go up here to File and click New. Right, and let's set the dimensions to 800 width and 600 height. Okay, the other settings are okay like that. And let's click Create. Now we have our document, and let's create a text layer by using Text Tool. And as a font, I choose Avengers Heroic Avenger Regular. Here. Right, and as a text size, let's set 200 points, and the text color can stay black for now. Right, and let's click here in the middle here. Right, and let's write Avenger, yeah, and confirm. And now we have to center this by selecting the entire document with pressing Command A or Strike A. I'll just go up here to select and all, and then select the move tool and align it horizontal by clicking here and vertical by clicking here. Alright, now it's centered, and we can make a deselection by pressing Command D or Strike D, or just go up here to select and deselect. Alright, and now we start adding effects or so-called blending options to our text layer, and these can be found down here. And first, let's add bevel and emboss. Alright, let's start from the top. The style and technique are okay like that. Just increase the depth to maximum, and that's 1000%. Alright, direction up, and size, let's rather decrease to 5, or that's 6, is alright. And for shading, let's first uncheck Use Global Light and change the angle to 45 degrees. And the altitude to 50. And now we need a gloss contour you should have in your default Photoshop settings, and that's that one. Ring double, right click here, and check anti-alias to have a smoother glass contour here. When you click here and look at the text, here, there you go, now it's smoother. And the settings here are also okay like that. Just increase the opacity of the shadow mode to 60%. And that's it now for bevel and emboss. And now the next effect we add is now the pattern overlay, and that can be found here. All right. And now let's add a more grungy like pattern, and that's in my system, it's down here. All right. And let's increase the scale of it to, let's say, 15%. Okay, and now we add a gradient overlay, and that's above the pattern overlay right here. Okay, and now we have to choose here in the gradient some purple color tones. Let's click here. All right, and now let's start here with the left one, and the value for the color tone we need now, you can here change it here, is 2E, 0E, and 3.5. Right, and there you see it's a very dark purple color. All right, and click OK. And the next one is here, and the color value for this one is 606 BD4. All right, click OK. OK again. Now we have our purple gradient here, and let's change the blend mode to multiply. There you go. Now the pattern is visible here just with the purple color tones. And let's check dither for smoother. Alright, and the next and final effect we add to this layer now is the so-called inner shadow that can be found here. Right. First let's change the color to a red tone. we need, and the value of that is C80101. Okay, and let's change the blend mode to linear dodge. Add the opacity to maximum, so 100. Uncheck use global light and change the angle to minus 90 degrees. And the distance can be increased to 5, the choke to 25, and the size again to 5. Alright, there you go. And you see now there's this inner red shadow here. Okay, and that's it now for the blending options of this layer. And now let's click confirm here. Okay, now we need a second layer with different blending options. And for that, let's first close this here. Let's duplicate this layer by pressing Command J or Strike J, or just go up here to layer and duplicate. And click OK. We have a copy of this layer, but it still has the blending options we already added to this layer here, but we don't need them. We need other effects now. So we first have to delete them by right-clicking here on the layer, go down here to clear layer style. All right, now they're gone, and that's why the layer has the same look it had when we created it with the default settings or just without the effects. And to make sure that this black area doesn't cover the layer below we've created, when I uncheck this here, of course we want this to be visible without this black area to covering it. And for that, we increase the value of the so-called interior opacity. And that's here, that says here fill. And just let's decrease it to 0. There you go. Now the layer below is now visible, and we can still add effects or blending options to this layer, and they still are displayed here while the content is invisible. All right, and now let's go down here to the effects again, and let's again add bevel and emboss. And the values and settings we have added to the previous layer are quite similar now. We need in this one, actually the entire settings can stay like that. Just change the size to 2 pixels and the opacity of the shadow mode back to 50%. All right, and now let's add a stroke to it, which can be found here. Okay, and let's fill the stroke with not a color but a gradient here, and let's click here, and we need a gradient with golden color tones. I have that already here. Here you go. The values here, like for lighter golden tone here, D2A 428, and for more darker here 848 846 000. Right, and the other one is just white, and you can just play with it. It's up to you now how you arrange the values here. Okay, and let's click OK, and let's increase now the size to 4 pixels. The position is inside the content, not outside. And let's decrease the opacity to 70%. And let's check dither for a smoother gradient. And now let's decrease the scale to 50% and change the angle to 45 degrees. All right. And now let's copy this blending option by clicking here on the plus symbol. All right. And let's change the settings here. First, let's create a new gradient. We need now a very simple gradient, which has actually only one color, and that's white. And there are several empty spaces or transparent spaces between them. And I can show you now how you can create this. Just click here on the first one here, in case you only have this one from the beginning. And I'm going to show you now how we can change it very easily. Just remove this here by drag and drop this, because as I said, it has only white. The controls below here are for the color values, and the controls up here control the opacity. All right, and now let's hold Alt and drag this to location 25, you can see it here, and let's change the opacity here to 0. Right. And now we want a white space in the middle again. Again, let's hold Alt and drag this here to location 50. And you see now the difference between these controls are here, black, it means that the opacity is 100%, and here, the white one, opacity is 0%. Now you see it now here on the arrangement, and now we have the controls we need now. We don't have to create a new one every time, so let's just again hold Alt and drag this here to 75%, so the arrangement is simple, right? And that's it. Now we have our gradient with several opacity spots, and that's exactly what we need right now for this blending option. And let's click OK, and let's change the blend mode to overlay, and let's increase the opacity again to 100%, right? But you see now that the border is gone here, and that's because we didn't check overprint. We need this so it always stays on the top, on the foreground, and can be seen. And let's check this here. There you go. It can be seen now. Okay. And the next thing we do is now to uncheck align with the layer, so the size, or let's say width of the gradient, is not limited to the size of the layer it's added on. So let's uncheck this. When this is unchecked, the gradient spreads all over the entire document. And this is what we need now. So now let's increase the scale to 130%. All right. And that's it now for the blending options of this layer. And let's click OK. Now we have our surface. And the next thing we do is to create a 3D effect of this text layer, a 3D block. But I'm not going to use the 3D function here, because on the one side it can be quite complicated. On the other side, the rendering can take very long, which is quite annoying. And maybe your computer is technically not capable of creating these effects. So let's use an easier and faster way to create a text block, or as it actually called, Extrusion. And for that, we first close this here. And now we duplicate this layer again by pressing Command J or Strike J, or just as I showed earlier, go up here to layer, or just go to the layer, right click and duplicate layer. All right. Now we have to create a transformation by pressing Command T or Strike T, or just go here to Edit and Free Transform. Now we have to change values of the size of this layer, and these values can be found here the width and the height. And let's first change the values from percent to pixels, right? There you go. The width is 692 pixels. And now let's subtract a very, very small value. And that's in this case a very small value we need now. It has to be very small because when we create the extrusion, we're going to make several copies of this layer, and these layers are going to build or create the several steps the extrusion is made of. And we don't want to see gaps between them, so the value has to be very, very small. First, we uncheck the maintain aspect ratio, so that the transformation we create now is only for the width. So let's click here and write minus 0.5, right? And let's confirm. And the software has now changed that transformation. And because of that, we can use this transformation again and again. And at the same time, we can duplicate the layer. Now we create our extrusion by holding Shift, Alt, and Command, and then press T. Right? And maybe you saw it now, something happened here. But on the layer side, now we see a second layer, a new layer has been created. And at the same time, it is now 0.5 pixel smaller in the width. And to create the extrusion, let's do this now a few times. Hold Shift Alt Command or Shift Alt Strike and press T again and again. There you go. The extrusion is created. Don't worry about the content turning into black. All right, I think that this extrusion is now enough. Yeah, and again, I do this a few times more actually. All right, you see we've created many layers here. And the next thing we do now is first to change the arrangement of the layers, because when we create layers like we did now, the arrangement is actually reversed, which is wrong. So let's select the first layer here, go down here to the third layer from below, which is this one. All these layers here are now just for the extrusion. All right. And here again, click up here and go to the third layer from below and hold Shift, click. Now all layers are selected here. And now go to Layer, Arrange, and Reverse. There you go, something has changed. It looks now much better here. And for a better oversight here and better workflow, let's now click while the layers are selected. Let's now press Command G or Strike G, or just go here to Layer and Group Layers. And now the layers are in a group, in a folder, and can be now dragged down here. And there you go. The surface we created is now visible again. Now let's rename the group to Extrusion. All right. And now let's add a blending option to the group. Here, go to Color Overlay and change the color into a golden tone. And this value of this golden tone is here 8D5D00. All right, and let's click OK and change the blending mode to soft light. There you go, and confirm. All right, and now you see we have our text effect with an extrusion of the Avengers. All right, and now you see we have our text effect with the surface. These are these two layers, and the extrusion. And to have this look more nice or more like sci-fi, let's add some contents in it. Let's first start with the background. Let's first click here and go up here to File and click Place Embedded. And first let's choose a space background here and click Place. Right, let's hold Alt and resize this so that it fills the entire background. All right, there you go, and click OK. And we don't need this background layer anymore. Let's click here and delete it. Right. All right, and now let's add another image on it. Go again to File and Place Embedded. And here I have an image of a Radiallight. And again, let's increase the size and change the blend mode to linear dodge. Right, and as a final thing, let's first click here, add another image to the document, again to Place Embedded it, and here I have a picture of a lens flare, and confirm, and change again the blend mode to linear dodge. There you go. Now it has a nice effect here, but I would decrease the size a bit because it looks a bit too much. All right, and I think that'll do it. There you go, and that's it. Now we have our Avengers Endgame text effect. I hope you liked it and it helped you to become better in Photoshop. And I hope you'll have fun, not only with this tutorial, but also with the movie itself when you see it. And remember, don't spoil the endgame. Don't forget to subscribe and check out my other tutorial videos. And thank you for watching. Bye.